In this video, we'll be doing translocation, what you need to know and write for your exam question, AQA mark scheme answers, what they are expecting for you to write. So translocation literally is sucrose. It's all to do with sucrose. You might be thinking, where does sucrose come from? I'll explain that in a second. So sucrose is from the source, and it gets transported through the phloem, the sieve tube, another name, sieve tube, all the way to the sink. So let's start off from the source. What is the source? I'm going to draw here a leaf. This is your leaf, and we know our leaf has a palisade cell filled with chloroplast. So in other words, you're having photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, you're right, it makes glucose. So you're still thinking, where does sucrose come from? But photosynthesis also sometimes makes fructose. And fructose and glucose together, we have our sucrose, correct? Sucrose is a disaccharide. So our source, which is our palisade cell, it makes the sucrose. I'm going to put an S there for a sucrose. That sucrose needs to be transported down all the way to the sink. You're thinking, what is sink? So sink could be your root cells, cells in the plant that need sucrose. What do they need it for? Could be any cell in the plant that need sucrose. Could be the unit sucrose for respiration. So we know that sucrose can be broken down into glucose for respiration, or it could be that they want to storage. They want to store the glucose. They're going to break down the sucrose and store the glucose as starch. So that sink is where you're going to store that sucrose, that starch, or you're going to use that sucrose for energy. But we are here. We need to show the examiner, we can explain how that sucrose gets transported from the source to the sink. So let's go through this. What do you need to write? First of all, let's start off from this. Sucrose gets active, it's called active loading. Active loading. So sucrose gets transported from the source through the companion cell. This is the sieve tube. Sieve tube is the phloem. So next to the sieve tube, you have cells next to it. Let's call them companion. Its companion is next to the cell. Companion cell. It goes through the companion cell into the sieve tube. Active loading. In the sieve tube, we have lots of water. Okay, we are adding in lots of sugar and lots of sugar there. So the water potential of the sieve tube, do you think is increasing or decreasing? The hint is I'm adding lots of solute, lots of sugar. Correct? I'm having a very low water potential. Next to the sieve tube, next to the phloem, I have xylem, and xylem has lots of water. Now, the water potential of the xylem is higher. Why is it higher? Because my sieve tube, I added lots of sugar. So for exam mark scheme, you have to talk about this, that the sucrose gets actively loaded into the sieve tube, decreases the water potential. Water now goes from the xylem into the sieve tube via osmosis. This is the key word they're looking for, osmosis. How does it move via osmosis? Okay, so now the pressure, okay, the water pressure. If you say pressure for the AQA is enough. So the pressure, the water pressure in the sieve tube will now increase. Okay, we've done that part. Let's go to the sink and we'll link it up. In the sink area over here, we have our sucrose. We also have water as well. Okay. Now the sucrose is going to be basically taken by the sink. And why will they take it in? For respiration or for storage into starch. Now over time, is our sucrose here increasing or decreasing? It's being transported out, yes. So the sucrose is going down. If the sucrose is going down, is the water potential increasing or decreasing? Correct. The water potential is increasing. Why is it increasing? Because the sucrose is leaving. So what happens next? Xylem is next to. There is a gradient. The water potential of the xylem is now lower and the water potential of the sieve tube around here is higher. So what will happen next? Correct. I'm going to have osmosis again. Water will leave the sieve tube and enter the xylem. Is the water in the sieve tube around the sink, is it increasing